Hello out there in the world. I'm just going to skip straight to the chase, right? And open my beer. It's lovely to have you here. It's lovely to be back once again in the warmth which is my shed. You're very, very welcome. Good of you to join me. Molten chat, if you've never been here before, is just an opportunity to get together, talk about some gear, try some stuff out, possibly chew into topics around music technology and synthesis and sampling and modular, that sort of thing. Have a chat about it, talk about the products from the last month or not, or new stuff or other stuff. Got questions, ask them. We can get deep into politics and personal salvation, if you like. Or we can just talk about synths and make some bleeps and bloops. It's whatever, really. It's whatever kind of takes our fancy over the next hour to 2 hours. Probably more importantly, I'm just going to drink myself into a relaxed state, which is not something that one has to do at all. It's just something I choose to do. This evening's tipple is... I don't know, something from Italy. There we go. Something from Italy. That tastes all right. So how are we doing? Good to see you. I've been extraordinarily busy, but never mind all that. I'm not going to sit here and moan all night. Maybe just for some of it. We're going to talk about the things which are pressing. Probably most pressing for me is Synth Picnic, because it's coming round the corner again. I've been spending most of this month working on Synth East, which is our wonderful synthesizer festival happening in February. But Synth Picnic is happening next Saturday in Norwich. Synth Picnic. I'm bringing a load of synths, some newer synths this time, not necessarily newer, different synths to lay out to allow people to have. And I'm working towards the idea that these are going to be rentable or sellable and those sorts of elements in order to try to bring a viability to the Synth Picnic, which it doesn't currently have, which is fun. So yeah, going to do a bit of that. But let's say hi to a few people first. Hello from Switzerland, says Fabian. Good to see you. Ken, you got in there early. I can see that. Seventh Serpent Synth Society. Good to see you. Tanith Velakwa. Good evening. That's a good name. Matt Baker. All right, mate. So, Nick, good to see you. Thomas, lovely. Hi, everyone. Johnny Midnight. Mr. Midnight. Tonal Axis, good to see you. Jordan, great. Crystal Visions, there's a whole bunch of you. Sam, lovely. I don't know what the crowns and the purples and the number ones mean either, I'm afraid. But it's good to see you. Sound and Vision Nominal says, Ken, thank you. I appreciate that. Steve, good to see you. Great. Roger. Cheers from Germany. Wow, we've got an international crowd. That's lovely to see. Get off. Oh, just kill me now. I should use this. Definitely use this. Crystal Visions, you love love my show. My show. Well, that's so nice. So lovely of you. Cheers from Istanbul. Good grief. And Canada. Leicester. There was a song. I was going out with a girl from Leicester. Just another one on the list. I can't remember the band. I saw it on a bandstand at Greenbelt in like 91. But anyway, there we go. Good. Well, it's lovely that you're here. I seem to be at a loss for words today. Never mind. Mostly tired, I suspect. Having done the paper rounds today with one son. Had a crazy week where my kids, because it's half term, or has just been the end of half term. My kids went on a road trip with a couple of friends over to Snowdonia, which is, if you don't know the UK's geography, you've got Norfolk where I am, you've got Scotland, then Switzerland, Lebanon, and then Snowdonia on the other side of the country. And they went to climb Snowdon, which of course is about 3 times the size of Everest, in their flip-flops and t-shirts, which was great. And they had a lovely time. And then my older son's car broke down. And sadly, we hadn't thought about breakdown insurance. Although even if we had thought about it, we never would have got the right stuff, because you never seem to get the right stuff anymore. There never seems to be a way that they actually bring you back home anymore. But anyway, so we spent a few days trying to work out how on earth we can rescue them from the other side of the country and how to fix the car and get the car back. So a lot of my week was kind of devoured in that whole exercise of trying to work that out. In the end, they've come down on the train, which means the car is still in Wales. And it's looking like I'm probably going to have to go and get it on the train. 8-hour train journey. And then like a 6-7 hour drive back. Glorious, glorious, glorious. What could be better than that? I think you'll find it's just fantastic. But hey, it's made for an interesting week, without a doubt. And now, of course, I'm having to take my boys all over the place when he's usually driving himself. But hey, never mind. But that was fun. So I have that to look forward to, and trying to work out a whole load of work that I can do on a train with dodgy internet connections and without trying to fall asleep. Yeah, thanks, Tanif. Yeah, truck with a trailer. Yeah. I looked into all of those sorts of things. There's so many different ways. Well, one of the funniest ones was I found this website, which was cheaptowing.co.uk or something. And I just put in, we need rescue from this place. And I got a deluge of text messages from people with vans going, we'll go get them. Just give us 600 quid. We'll go get them. That kind of thing, which was entertaining and tempting for a little while. But you just weren't sure whether any of this was actually real. Was the hardest problem. Anyway, DIY soldering. Yeah, maybe. So what I was going to do this evening, I think I've set up the Herbs and Stone stuff. Now, I've never had access to Herbs and Stone stuff before. I've always admired it from a distance, through a website, through a portal of some kind. And then there was actually some at Bristronica, which I'd never seen it in the flesh before. That was quite exciting. I had no idea what to do with it, but it was exciting that it was there. And now I have some in my hands, and I still don't really know what to do with it. But I need to get into the manuals a little bit. I think it requires perhaps a little bit more than just me intuiting my way through, although I have done. And I do have noise coming out, right? Let me show you what I've got so far. Not a lot on that channel. That's sad. That plugged into anything? No. Okay, right. It's going to be spacey, whatever it is. Trying to get that too loud. So what's that coming from, I wonder? Coming from over there. It's going to be this thing. No, it's not. I don't even know what it is. Oh, it's this thing. So you're just staring at me, wondering what on earth is he playing with? Can you see that on there? Well, you can a little bit. So what I've got over here, right, is the 4 C's from the Ferry people, Ferry Island Modular. Now I've literally just plugged it in. Let's put that over there. Right. Is that pointing at it? Really. It's just going to fall off there, isn't it? Ah! Like that. Let's see what that looks like. So the 4 C's, this thing here, is kind of a droning thing, although I seem to be playing a tune with it, which was a little bit unexpected, I have to say. So I think it's a 4-dimensional wavetable, right? So you've got, hey, let me put these two things on. There we go. So I can always look at myself. Is that now covering up? No, it's not. That's looking good. So you got a bunch of knobs which are selecting positions, as I understand it. What I'm going to do is turn the speed of the sequence down. Quite interesting. I'm just going to, I don't actually have much of an LFO knocking around at the minute. I do have these envelopes. Let me just stuff something in and see what happens. Just had a thought. What I'm going to do some patching. That's not going to reach. I will do some patching. Oh. Oh, that blew it. Are you with me? Right, well, okay, that was fun. So yeah, so that is a collection of Earth and Stone stuff going on, which I don't, as you can tell, fully understand. But this is just my first time I've plugged it in. Sadly, they turned up with no power supply, so I've had to been scraping around trying to find something to power them with, and I'm running them all on a pedal power supply. I decided was the best course of action. Now, the 4Cs was quite interesting, and again, that's my first play on that as well, just pulling something out. I just started to put it through a filter and trying to send it some notes or not. But there's evidently stuff in there, which is quite interesting, quite chordal, quite organ-like to some degree. I'm going to investigate that further and fuller and do like a proper video on it and stuff. This is just first explorations into these sorts of things. So that was interesting. The liquid foam here is like a little sort of groove box to some degree. Let me see if I can isolate some things, right? I'll turn the moose off to start with because I have absolutely no idea what that's doing, but I did get sound out of it. I mean, so that was quite nice. This is going there. No, other way around. 2. Got it. Alright, let's swap to that again. Are we still in that? We're still in that. Okay, I didn't even turn it around. So this is the liquid foam, this thing here. Now I've given it a clock and I've plugged some things into each other and that seemed to make it make sound. So I had nothing going to start with. There seems to be these 3 things, A, B and C. So I've not looked into it remotely. I've just thought, well, let's just plug things in and see what happens. So these are using these banana plugs rather. So A, I've got here, I decided to plug it into something that was happening here and that seems to make a sound. Doesn't seem to make a pitch, but it definitely makes a sound. Make sure that's what. And there's a filter here doing things. That might be pulse width, waveform or something. I've got pitch, which is not doing anything. No, that's pitch. But if I plug B into this side, that's definitely given me some notes. And I think they're related somehow. Then if I press C in something as well, that does something else. Definitely got an LFO here. I have no clue. Fascinating though. I've then got the output of this going through the solid felt, and this is just a stereo filter. So this is a bit more easy to understand. I've got resonance and I've got cutoff. I did have an envelope, didn't I? So I can borrow that. Really interesting. It's making, I don't know where the tune's coming from, don't know what's making that, how that happens. I don't know, any comments? Dreadful, thank you. That's just brilliant. I'm just going to rewind up a little bit, see if anything interesting was said. Your patch cables look very neat and tidy. Are you an alien? No, certainly not. Did you get Endorphin's evil pet? No, I haven't seen anything about that. Sadly, I glimpsed something about it on the internet, I think yesterday. Never heard of Fairy Island. This is Fairy Island Modular. This is their first module, I think. This sounds incredible. Well, God bless you. I'll let that bubble along the bottom for the minute. Nice. Crystal asked about DIY. I have I've got I'm carrying a lot of guilt about DIY projects, and I want to do something about that. I would like very much to try to see if I can do a regular, just take an evening out of the week and just live stream stuff. The difficulty I have with it is that other than it's just time, but the problem I have with making videos on it is that I feel that live streamed DIY it's a long space of time. Soldering takes time to do, and I don't know whether that's particularly interesting. So the DIY videos I make, I used to make heavily edited ones. I've now managed to reduce that down to sort of mostly live and then edited in post, so that I'm doing the mix of views live as I do it, rather than trying to do that afterwards from multiple cameras. So I'm just capturing one source and then just cutting out the ums and ahs and the big spaces where I've got to go and answer the door, or I've got to go and do something else and come back, and then I speed up some of the longer periods of soldering, and that seems to work quite well, and I kind of feel that brings it together as a workable video. Just to live stream it just means that you're opening yourself up to 2 to 3 hours of constant filming, which is okay, but I feel that that's less helpful to people who would like to see what it's like to build a particular module, if you see what I mean. And so on the one hand, I don't have the time to put in the 3 hours to make the thing, and then the couple of hours after that to do the edit, if you see what I mean. So it's like, I don't know, I'm trying to work out the best thing, and probably the best way forward is for me to forget about worrying about the audience and just to build some stuff and to have it live streamed. But the other thing is that people have very kindly sent me these kits to do, and so they deserve a bit of effort of me putting together a reasonable video that's not going to bore the pants off people. Do you see what I mean? Do you see the dilemma that I end up in? I mean, maybe there's room for doing both. Maybe, something I'm going to try to test. Maybe not this week, so I'm a little bit flat out with Synth Picnic, but I aim to test the idea that I can live stream and record it at the same time. So there is a live stream version out there, and then I can release an edited down, more compact version later on, which just has the odd weird reference to somebody in the chat from time to time. I mean, that seems to me the compromise, in that if for any reason I can't get the edit done, there is actually something out there, and and the product is being promoted in that regard. And I just intend to do a better, smarter, snappier version of that sometime down the line. Maybe that's the answer. But part of it is going to have to just be devoting, I think, an evening to it. That I can find, because I have a lot of kits. I mean, I've done this wonderful bit of reorganization behind me here, where I've got rid of the keyboard stand, which I sold far too cheap, so it seems, because it went in an instant. And I've made myself a bit more space, because I wasn't having all those keyboards out was a little bit pointless, because I wasn't really using them. And now I've got them all packed up for Synth Picnic, I'm not using them at all, and this great big thing is just in the way. So now I've just got a bit of a desk, and it's enabled me to organize all my bits down here. So I've got lots of oh yeah, I haven't even looked at I can see a bit more as to what it is I have to do. So in answer to your question of what DIY I'm going to be doing next, I can tell you what I do have to hand that I want to do very badly. Right? So I've got this, which I had a long time, not on. Somebody asked about the fader port. Fader punk, or was it fader port? I do have a fader port, which needs building. So it's in here. Does it need building? Or does it just need using? Probably just needs using, but I've got another one there. Things I have intended to build and just not gotten around to. Yeah, includes the original fader port from Atov, which is here, which is brilliant. Would have loved to have gotten around to building that, but I just have not had the time, because it's a larger project and requires a little bit more from me, if you know what I mean. Oh, that's all come apart now. But I do have that. That's the 16N, in case you're wondering what on earth it is I'm talking about. Is this the front panel? I think it is. No, it's a PCB. This fella. Am I on the right screen? Let me go back to this one. This one. This fella. These bits. Would very much like to get into doing that. So that's one thing I've got to hand. But I'm not going to be doing that one soon. I need to get through some of the smaller modules first. I think it's important, because there are many that I'd like very much to use, as much as anything else. So I've got a couple of Atov projects. Which are there. I got a whole bunch of candy stripe stuff from Axis Modular and Decade Bridge. Like that and like that. These are noise drone glitch loops thing. No, it's not. That's not what that is. I don't know what that is. This is Axis Modular, an input DIY kit, a split DIY kit. That's something else entirely. Ooh, so is that. I don't even know what that is. Looks like an output module. Very cool. And I got the 280, so kind of some attenuators and other bits and pieces. Those are all very cool. So I will attempt. What is that? We'll attempt to get to those. There's no in the way. I don't know what, who. I've got the Punch MG from Patching Panda. I have a few bits from Patching Panda that I really should get onto. My biggest problem being that they tend to be quite complicated modules, which make it difficult to make a video about it, because you've got to put and invest so much time in it in order to come up with something. So you tend to lean towards something which is going to be a bit simpler to do. Just for your own sake, really. So we've got one of those. I've got a Plinky. Very much like to build that. I've got some. This is tray modular, I think. Oh, I mean that's an actual module. I got a switch divider from tray modular. That's not a kit. And a shape mod. These are just modules I need to look at. As much as anything else. There's a lot of stuff out there, you see. A lot of stuff. But much of this has been hanging around my shed for far too long. I've got a Frequency Central Blades of Ingenuity, which I think is essentially an envelope. Here's more Decade Bridge stuff. Oh, but that's a little squidgy thing with a button. See, things I need to look at that people have been very, very kind in sending me. So this is part of my little clear up, was to put out things that I've missed, you know. What was that in there? And that was in there. That must have been on there. My clear up has already gone to pot. See, I was round a friend's house, right, and he had everything all nicely put on shelves, and I thought that's definitely the answer. But, you know, that's just not me, is it? It has to be a calamity. Down here I've got... this is Erica Synths. I think this is the BPD. I think. Which is a really nice module, so Gertz tells me. So Gertz tells me. But he thinks it's one of the finest Bucket Brigade delays they've ever made at Erica. And it's by Moritz. Yeah? One of those. Definitely want to put that together. That would be good. From Bafako, I've got this. What is this one? Oh yeah, this is their little mini power supply. Yeah, nice little kit. Mini power supply. I've also got the one eye roll. This fella here, which is a big build. There's a lot of stuff in this one eye roll box. This fella, quite chunky. Definitely want to give that a go. So you can see I have quite a lot of hours of DIY ahead of me. In here I've got this is the Curiouser from Apollo View. That's a little kit. That wouldn't take too long. I should definitely throw that together. And here I've got the Sycamore from Divergent Waves. Now, funny enough, I ran into Divergent Waves at Bristronica, and they asked me how I was doing with the kit. And I scratched my head going, I've no idea. I sort of faked knowledge. And I thought about that a lot. And then when I came home, I searched around and found it. It was on a pile just in the corner there. You know, the next thing to build, it's just I don't ever look in that corner in order to find it. So I've pulled it out. And this is actually a module that I've been interested in because it's kind of a touring machine with bells on. And that's definitely the sort of thing that I like. And so I'm upset about the fact that I've missed this. So I definitely want to put that together. So this is probably my priority in building. I'd quite like to put this together. So that's probably what I'm going to do next. The Sycamore from Divergent Waves. Divergent waves. That's probably my next one. Doesn't look too terrible, relatively speaking. So I'd like to do that. I'd like to do the Erica one. I'd like to get into the one eye roll. Also that joystick and kit I've got from Biopower that I've had now a year, which pains me greatly, which is it's sort of a controller and a joystick that sits externally and then uses this module in order to spread it around Eurorack. Lots of exciting stuff, you know. Lots of exciting stuff. And then I've got this from Flight of Harmony, the face hugger. Now this has been quite a journey. It was a Kickstarter that I supported like 5 years ago or something for this weird kind of arpeggiator sequencer kind of module. And it's taken him a long time to put it together, but he's worked really hard, the guy behind this. And you get regular updates as like, you know, he soldered three more resistors onto 100 units, you know, that kind of thing. And eventually it turned up, and I'd forgotten that I'd bought the kit. So I was really excited when it arrived. I thought I could play with it straight away. And no, I've got to build it. Oh, it's like, no, I don't need another kit right now. But I can't remember really what it does. I think it does a whole lot of stuff. But I mean, high quality Kickstarter bits and pieces in here has really gone to town on all the bits. There's a lot to do. There's these fascinating little clips that have been included and some documentation and all sorts of stuff. Very, very impressive. So I think that would be fun. Did I show you that? There it is. It's cool. Very, very cool. That's not all either. I have a filter thing over here that I almost built and then got scared off. I got this. Now this is Steve Davis gave me this. It's an enormous sequencer, and he said that, I don't know whether he got it or somebody gave it to him and he just doesn't have the time or the energy to do it. This is the Klee, which is a massive thing. Look at that. Compositionally explorative sequential shift cascade summation array. Flipping heck. But that's a serious bit of soldering, that is. And he's probably gave me this a year ago, if not 2 years ago. A year ago. It was on the last Utopia Strong tour. I saw him in Colchester and he gave it to me then. So, yeah, I really want to do that. So there's lots of exciting DIY that I really would like to get into. It's just finding the time to do it. So what I'm proposing, what I'm talking about trying to do is to is like square off a Monday night and just start a project Monday night, live stream it, hopefully capture it, do the build, sit here hopefully undisturbed for a while, for a few hours, and see how far we get. And maybe we'll get through a whole build. Maybe we'll continue the following week or another time. And I'll just throw it in there whenever it is that I'm doing it. Maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe. I think that might be good. Because otherwise they're in danger of never getting built. And that's a real shame. That's a real shame. This is great stuff. I'm going to put this somewhere safe. So there, yeah, and also look, just in here, I've got the Erica Synths DIY labour kit as well. Yeah. Too much stuff. So thank you for that question. Does that answer your question? I'm probably going to I'll do a test. So probably not this week because Synth Picnic is so pressing. The week after, I'll do a test build on something small and do the capture and live stream at the same time just to make sure that works. And then I'll try to do that. You know, I'll try to do a Monday night build. Maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. Depends. I mean, I don't know about you, but since COVID, I've found evenings to be less energized than they used to be. But we'll see how we go. Right, sorry. You've probably asked a lot of other questions by now. Do I still have the fader punk? I never did have a fader punk, but you were asking about I have a fader port. I don't have a fader punk. I'm hoping that I can get one. But considering I haven't built the fader port, then I don't know how Arthur feels about sending me a fader punk. But it's a lovely thing. I'd like to review it very much. I think that would be fascinating. Sounds juicy. What does the green knob do? Looks like the green knob is the frequency knob. Green knob on what in particular? Was there a green knob? What a racket. Thank you. See, this is something that does occur to me, is that I often push myself into a very musical space, as in I quantize, I get rhythms going, I sync things up, and I tend to fall into a pattern of playing stuff on a keyboard in order to sequence things. I'm very much wanting to keep things in tune, very much wanting everything to gel together properly, and reset at the same time, things like that. And sometimes I feel that's not necessarily what modular is all about, and I should be less worried about such things. I should allow sounds and bits and pieces to emerge and to come together, and then worry about sort of pushing them towards each other, tuning them or not tuning them. Be less worried about quantization and things like that, and just see what happens. I think that's more of a modular approach. I'm always taking a more standard, I think, westernized, traditional musical approach, which does have its rewards in that something feels instantly right to some degree, but on the other hand, it's not being very brave, not being very courageous, and perhaps I should be more courageous. I was at sorry, there's just a spider on the lens. I'm just going to sort that out, get out of it. I was at a performance on Tuesday at Musical Keys, which is a musical charity in Norwich. If you were at Synth East last year, you might have seen Dave there from Musical Keys, who had a brainwave connection to his modular, using a sound machine's brain to CV kind of thing. It takes traces of your alpha waves or whatever and turns that into modulation, which you can use. And it was a performance in Musical Keys, and what he does, he has a modular system that has this in it, and then he invites people. Actually, I didn't really get the details, I have to say, but people who are physically unable to manipulate modular. So people who are either got cerebral palsy or are locked in some way. They're not able to turn knobs and interact with music that way, but they can use their brain waves to interact. And so the performances was two people who were using the brain connection to the modular. And alongside that, they had a couple of other musicians who were playing trumpet and a little bit of trumpet, a little bit of flute, that sort of thing, just to throw stuff in. And also us in the audience, we were given chimes and we hit things from time to time, and they were being sampled in through Morphogenie and thrown back out again. And it was absolutely sublime. It was lovely. It was just so differently interesting. And there was nothing to do with musicality in the normal sense that we think about it. It was about energy and noise and sounds being manipulated and changed. I mean, along with, there were notes from these other instruments that were brought in, but it made me think about my approach. You know, I need to be a little bit more open, and how nice it would be just to bring in some random sounds to throw into a thing. How could I incorporate that in a performance? Things like that. Always inspirational, because I don't want to always just be, turning on a harmonic minor, and just following notes along that the whole time, for always. I want to be braver with that kind of thing. So, that's why I didn't care quite so much, because I have no idea how to quantize any of this, or whether that has any of that sort of thing in it, and perhaps it shouldn't. Does a 4Cs come in kit form? Not that I'm aware of. Not to say that it doesn't. No quantize on it. Not that I know of, as I say. Oh, you people are funny. Couple of hours watching somebody soldering is a good way to spend some time. Thank you, Ken. Hi, Cornish. You're welcome, Crystal. Am I considering the Noiseit drop? I'm not. I mean, largely I don't really consider anything. I find that I already have enough to play with and to do videos on. So I'm not actively reaching out to people for bits of gear. I'm enormously grateful and happy if people send them in, and I would do my best to do something on them. Some things simply carry more weight than others. So for instance, I have a thing that I've done a video on, which is down here, that I can't show you, which is coming out on Tuesday, I think, and I had to get that done. So that has, leapt its way into the queue. So certain things that turn up are just beautiful things that I feel I have to get on with, or they're something that I might actually get some paid work for, in which case again they get prioritized, like the supercar, for instance, and the Bohm. Both of those I did for Sound and Sound magazine, so I was able to get straight to them, whereas there are plenty of other things that are just down to me making a video on them if it's interesting, and some things are, some things aren't. It just depends. I mean, we had some percussion going during that last piece, which was over here by Jake's Custom Shop. He sent me a bunch of drum modules, which are quite interesting. We should probably just have a quick look at those just while we're here. Let me see if I can point, or maybe can I bring that over here? Is that going to be, no, I don't know. I'll just bend this over here a little bit. And then move that in. That might work. Like I say, the angle, I appreciate the angle's a bit kind of crazy, but that'll be all right. I'll do that. You can see that. So there you go. They're quite good looking. I think. Now, where did I put them out to? It's going out. It's going through the S-Mix here. Which from MH Modular very kindly sent to me. It's a 4-channel summing mixer with 2 different possible outputs. I thought it might have been stereo, but I don't think it is actually. It's just 2 lots of mono stuff. So I've got that running through there, and that is going to, both of these are going to something over here. So I need to turn that and that on. There we go. And I wrote a new drum pattern. Rather than a standard techno, I decided to do something a bit groovier, which is exciting, I think you'll find. So you've got a kick, (808) or apparently this is 909. Then we've got this snare. Let me just mute out simple. That's just level and decay. There's got the hi-hat. I've been using the hat from 2HP and I'm really finding that I don't like it. I was using up over here, I was using 3 little modules from XO for kick, snare and hi-hat, 1U1s in here, but with the Arbor Darkness, which I love, and the Caress of Stars, the poor Caress of Stars that didn't make it out of its Kickstarter, sadly, out of its Indiegogo, those 2 things just take up too much room, so I had to bump the hi-hat out. So I happen to have a hat from 2HP and I plugged that in, and I just don't like it. It's not what I want. There's something different about it that does not appeal to me at all, which is interesting. It doesn't happen very often. I usually find a use for everything, but I'm disliking it. So I'm quite happy, much happier with the one that's coming in here from this dual module. And if I've got a dual module, then perhaps I don't need the snare in here, but also the XO snare is really nice. Similar idea, so it's an 808 snare, same idea, but the hi-hat here is much nicer. I assume there's you can give it a decay CV interrupt for a little bit of open hi-hat. I like the fact I've got level control on the module as well, because hi-hats are always too loud, always, for me. That's cool. Then you've got a clap and a cowbell. Now I like this so far. I like everything I've heard so far, which makes it sound like I'm about to say something that I don't, and I can't seem to get a clap out of the clap. I was really looking forward to having an individual clap. We'll turn off the snare for a minute. So that's the clap. But maybe it just depends on what I'm on. I don't know. I haven't quite dialed it in yet, perhaps. If I take the snare trigger to give it a bit more of a trigger. Oh, that killed it. Oh, it's because I did that. Levels all the way up. It's just not a clap. I mean, it is kinda. There's definitely an element of clap to it, but that one's not working for me at the moment. The cowbell, on the other hand, is pretty good, and also you've got 2 pitch controls. I don't know where you're supposed to put it, but that sounds like a cowbell to me. So that's working. It's just the clap that I'm a little bit disappointed with, I have to say, at this stage. Maybe I need to look into it a little bit deeper. So I'm going to put that back into the cowbell. Nice. Anyway, so that was a quick diversion into that. Just going to have a look at a few more things. Quantizer or no, surely each instrument should be tuned together. No, maybe, possibly, yes, normally, but not necessarily. I don't believe the 4Cs comes as a kit. I've not seen it as a kit. It may do, but I do not know. Is the answer to that question is that I do not know. Yeah, I was surprised by the Glasgow synth build only sort of doing them for a small period of time, because it's a great little sequencer. I have two. I'm very fortunate to have two, and I use them both quite a lot. Just really useful, simple, straightforward. Automatically quantizable. Does what it says. Yeah, really useful. It's a mystery to me why they don't keep going. Have I ever figured out the quad ADSR? No, not entirely, Frank. I confess that I haven't. It's not reach outable and usable. You have to. It's something that I'm going to have to sit down with and learn and understand, and then try to retain that information. So it's still knocking around. It's not as if I'm got nothing else to do or anything, or I'm avoiding it. It's simply time and bandwidth and that kind of thing. Just trying to have us look as best I can. Have I seen the Orbiter? Yes. I had a play with that at Bristronica. It was great. I've been talking to Orbiter for a long time, but they've gone quiet on me now, which is a shame, because they were going to send me one, and I was hoping to have an opportunity to review it, but I haven't heard from them in ages. So Orbiter, if you're out there, do look me up. I'd be quite happy to review it. I think it's a fun device, and you've definitely dispelled any of the doubts I think that I had or other people had over it being a little bit too toy-like or a little bit silly. Not at all. It was a decent piece of kit, well built, it worked, and you can see how much fun that could be. So yeah, definitely worth looking at. Hi Gary in Australia. Clap sounds like gated noise. Yeah, pretty much. I'm kind of expecting a little bit more. There's something else in a clap, isn't there? There's a something behind it, which is not just noise. Or is it just noise? I haven't actually ever looked into it, but I feel there's some other snappiness in there somewhere. How long did it take me to set up my systems there? It's very much progressive over time. Yes. If you look back through the aching catalogue of my videos, go back a few years and you'll see this area has changed an enormous amount. It's been relatively static for a year or two, I think. I kind of got things sorted out when I got the Big 6 mixer, which sits in the middle. I kind of got this area sorted out quite well, and I've just about got enough room for some DIY over here when I move things out of the way, and that works quite well. I did have a lot clearer benches at one time though I could set something up and do a nice sort of spacious video around something. I can't really do that anymore, but I'm quite happy relatively with how things are now, particularly as I've sorted out what's behind me, so I feel less crowded in. It's definitely looking pretty good. What's eluding me at the moment is the the ability to put together a live case that I just use for live performance. I'm forever having to dip into it in order to do other videos on other things, and that's always a problem. But also what I like to have in a live case is constantly changing, you know. It's like Knob Technology over here. Sorry, come back to here. Knob Technology over here did this weird space percussion module, which was kind of nuts, but I really enjoyed it and had a good time, and it would do some incredible feedback, kind of crazy sounds. But that's now, you know, on a shelf somewhere, and I'd really like to bring that back in because it's just interesting to do percussion with, because you can really wind it into some really weird stuff. So, but then where do I put that, and then how much room am I going to need for that? Because I don't want to have to use two cases when I go live. I want to use one case and perhaps a little mixer, or perhaps a little row, you know, something along those lines. In fact, you know, I could put the assembler in here with an effect and leave it at that. Don't know. Oh, I think I've run out of commentary. Yeah, the R110 is decent. I like it. Gosh, it's 9:10 already. Cool. Well, if I've missed a burning question of yours, do ask it again. So I'll come down to the bottom again. Needs an envelope with decay to the sound for the clap sound. An envelope with decay. So I've got a trigger and I've got an audio. I don't have any inputs. It does have an envelope. It does have decay. It just was not doing a whole lot at all. Right. So we looked at these two down here. We haven't looked at Muse yet, which is this one here. Are you happy with this sideways view of things? Brilliant. So this, again, I didn't look at any instructions or anything like that, anything sensible. I just started plugging things in. I mean, it's completely mystical, but my assumptions are that the white circles are inputs and the non-white circles are outputs. That was what I was going on. So let me just turn those two off. One, two, those two. I found some VCAs. Yeah, no, it did nothing. So I've got B going from here, this thing into here. I don't know why, but that definitely does a thing. So I was quite impressed by that. It's pitch, certainly. But maybe that can come from somewhere else. Or can it? It's impossible to know. Now that was an envelope. Let me check the output of that. Oh, it just does the same. La-di-da. So this Y here, it's definitely a thing. I had A going at one point. I seem to have lost that. I've got both those going there. Yeah, I think so. Oh no, I took one output. out. Okay, let's take this one here. Might be a mix. Oh, now we're talking. I have no clue. No clue at all. I'm just going to keep plugging things in if I can find any more patch cables. So I think, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no clue in the slightest what that's about. But there's definitely things going on, and it, deserves an exploration. So these Hers and Stones units have been sent to me by Signal Sounds because they are the UK distributor for these peculiar boxes, and these will be on display and available for you to fiddle with at the next Synth Picnic, which is on Saturday. So we can talk about that a little bit. What time is it? 9:20. The first one I took a load of Dreadbox stuff along, and the little Roland ones, which people like to play, and also the Instruo Seashell and the Moog Labyrinth. That was my selection for the little synth table. So this time around, I'm going to be taking these. I'm going to be taking the Elmira stuff and the Terror Horror synth thing, slightly weirder stuff, all of which Signal Sounds does up in Glasgow. So in order to try to bring something different to each Synth Picnic is the plan. We're going to be taking these along so you can come and have a play if you happen to be around the Norwich area on Saturday. I will also be spending a bit of time with these, so you won't be able to take these away, but I'll be spending a bit of time on these in between this Synth Picnic and the next one to try to produce some videos on it, to give it a bit of a go so that I can work with it, understand it, and hopefully explain it properly to other people out there. I think that will ultimately be helpful, certainly from my perspective. So I'm going to spend a bit of time and work that out. I'm not going to really have the time this week to do that. So if you do come along, you're welcome to play. I won't really be able to tell you very much other than intuit our way in as we have so far. But come and have a look. You'd be very, very welcome. So that's the plan for those, and I'll be making videos on them, which I'm really quite excited to get into understanding them a lot better than I currently do. So that'll be good. So otherwise, the kind of the main change for Synth Picnic for this second one is to try to, as I say, to make it more viable. So for that, I have to focus in a bit on making everything available for sale, pushing the idea, not pushing, but presenting the idea that these things can be bought and these things can be accessed via affiliate links in order to support the Synth Picnic in the first place. And also I need to work on the whole rental side, which is, I think, coming together. I've been through a lot of different iterations of how to do this. And if you saw my Molten Monthly, I talked about the Glasgow library of synthesized sound and how great it is that they're doing stuff up there, putting together a whole big collection of stuff which they're then making very, very affordable for people to come and try and use out. And that is definitely what I want to do. But I have to balance this idea that it has to support itself. I can't I don't have the resources to offer it as an altruistic charitable community event. It's just not possible. I can't do it as much as I would like to. So we have to enter into capitalism to some degree in order to try to have the thing work, in order to maintain this idea that we could bring synthesizers to Norwich every month. And all it requires is for people to come along, to use the links when they're buying stuff, and to potentially rent something and take it away for a month. So what I'm getting to is that I had initially thought about renting little modular systems, which you've probably seen me play with, the Molten, the Delia, the Wendy, and that's great. That's still very much a possibility, but I want to make everything else pretty much as far as I can. Like, I can't send other people's stuff. Like, this is lent to me by Signal Sounds. I can't rent these out, but I can rent out the Cobalt 8 and the Explorer and the Tiger keyboard and the Redshift, I think, potentially, and other bits and pieces. You can come and take those away for a month and bring them back. And the idea is to make it as affordable as I possibly can, but also have it enough so it has some value in helping to support the event. So all of those things will be 50 quid. 50 quid. There'll be some fees, I think, by the website that we go through in order to secure everything and insure everything. There will be some fees involved, but essentially it will be 50 quid and you can take it away. Some of the larger modular stuff, I think, will probably be 100, just because it does have such a much larger actual value. Because of all the modules inside and the case and such like. So that will be the plan. 100 quid for a little modular system to take away and play with has probably got about 1,500 quid's worth of modular in it, or 50 quid for a reasonable desktop synthesizer. I'll probably bring my Korg Modwave. Is it a Modwave? It is a Modwave along, perhaps. I can't let the Donna L1 go because I have to do a video on it this month, funnily enough. But everything else pretty much will be available. I also have plans for the December one where I'm hopefully getting some stuff from Sequential, which would be great to bring along. And also Korg are interested in sending me some stuff. So hopefully I'll have some new synths for the December one also. But, come along, get yourself signed up on the Renters website, which is called fatlama.co.uk. Get yourself verified on there and you'll be able to sign up, book the product that you want and take it away. That would be brilliant. And that will get a little bit of cash coming in to hopefully pay for more extension cables and the advertising and the little boards I'm going to be printing up for each synth and bits and pieces like that. That would be great. It would be great if it was able to make a few £100 every month in order to pay for stuff, because the room itself, I've got to pay for that. I've got to pay for the public liability insurance. All of these sorts of things roll into these little events that you probably wouldn't have thought of, let alone the time and effort required to do it. So I'm pushing forward with this idea in the hope that it will capture enough imagination of enough people in order to be self-fulfilling. Do you see what I mean? See what I'm getting at? That's the plan. I hope that's all right. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get into deposits, Crystal, that's a very fair question when we talk about deposits, and I've been absolutely around the houses with rental. As soon as you ask for deposits, the whole thing becomes too expensive, because these things are worth quite a lot often. So I've either got to charge large deposits, do some kind of verification on people, address checks and bits and pieces in order to try to make it all work. And it's paperwork heavy and difficult. And I don't want people's money knocking around in my bank account, because I'll end up spending it on, drugs and really wild times. And it will end up being a problem. So that is something that I don't really want to get into doing. So this website that I'm doing it through takes care of all of that. There's no deposit. You're paying a fee, and that fee pays insurance, that in the event that they don't bring it back, we can claim against that insurance in order to get it back, and they'll send the boys round to beat the person up who's run off with the unit, and that's all done out of my hands, nothing to do with me. That's done by the website and the people who run that. And that to me seems worthwhile paying the fees, honestly, to take all of that hassle and difficulty and expense out of our hands and have that as a separate entity, and we can just focus on paying a little bit of money in order to borrow something. That seems by far to me the best way to do it. And honestly, I have thought about it. I have thought about it. Thanks, MM7WUP. Thank you very much for your comments. Thanks. What about the Descartes Dream? Now, funny enough, I was speaking to Mike Gorman, I think it is. Mike is a great guy. He has a whole bunch of old stuff, including half a dozen Descartes Dreams, I think, at least. And he was at our first Synth Picnic, and he brought a load of stuff, which was great. And he takes it around to different shows. And I saw him at Bristronica, and we chatted about the possibility of me taking my Descartes Dream, which is up here, round to his place and just sort of sorting it out once and for all, because it's nearly there. It nearly works. It just needs a little bit of fault finding to make it reliable, and so I don't feel I'm going to blow myself up. If we can iron those couple of bits out, then yeah, it could be a goer. As for renting it out, the difficulty, I would say, is it's very fragile. There's got these great big sound cards in the back, voice cards, which are not really held in with anything other than hope. And if you're going to be moving it about, it's going to be a bit dangerous. Now, you can sort of glue those in and other bits and pieces, but I worry about its fragility, I have to say. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe I can get it sorted out. Maybe I can get it in a nice flight case. What it really needs is effects, though. It's a very dry synthesizer, despite its gorgeousness. So it needs something to go along with it. Black Corporation do a little effects unit for it, but that's again a whole load more cash, isn't it? But yeah, it would be great to get that done. Potentially. Yeah, I mean, swapping stuff is a good idea. Again, as I say, I have thought about this a lot, and it's like renting individual modules is, it's a good idea. It's just paperwork heavy. That's all, because you could potentially be having sort of 50, 60 modules going out, and you've got to keep track of them all, and you've got to do all the postage, got to go down to the post office. You've got to test them all when they come back to make sure they all work. So I don't want these things to get out of control and to become more trouble than they're worth, if you see what I mean. People swapping modules is good, but you've got to be, everyone has to be on the same page with it, in what's expected, the level of respect for the module. And what do you do if something comes back and it's been half eaten or had ketchup rubbed into it or something? There's difficulties if you're trying to do it on anything other than a very casual basis. And I'm trying to do it as part of my business kind of way, and so things have to be done properly. They have to be tested properly. They have to be returned and sorted out. And just doing like a community swap, which I think is brilliant, go and do that, but that's not something that I'm going to be sorting out, because it's like a spare time side hustle thing, and that's things I do not have is spare time. Yeah. When it comes to modular, as I say, I've built a couple of little systems. I'd much rather people rent a little system very affordably, even if there's only 1 or 2 modules in that system that they're interested in. It's still a much more affordable way to do it. And they have something that is working straight away. There's no fiddling around as to whether they've, I don't want modules taken out of the case. They use it as it is, add it to their own modular, patch it in, but it stays self-contained. They're not going to blow it up. They're not going to break anything on the back of it, because it's all going to stay self-contained. So I like that idea. It's just that it, so far I only had one Synth Picnic. It hasn't actually been successful. But I think part of that is that I'm not really getting the information across well enough yet, and I will absolutely strive to do that. So this week I will be in web development hell, trying to put together everything onto the rental site, everything listed, properly priced, with proper links, affiliate links and QR codes to everything, and then make a printout. So my plan is to have I need a visual aid. Oh, they're here. Yeah, that's the other thing. So next to each synthesizer, see, I talk about expenses. I'll have a piece of card, right? Piece of card on a thing. Like that. And it will say, this synthesizer, $4.99, or rent it for 50 quid. This synthesizer does this, and this. Here's a QR code. Scan the code. Take you to the website where you can sign up or buy it from Signal Sounds, and they'll deliver it on Tuesday. That's this week's project, is to get lots of cards slapped onto these, printed up for each one, so it's all good to go, so that people can come in and go, oh, I understand what's going on, as opposed to not like last time. So that's my work for the week. Payment processing, yeah. Yeah, I do. I have ketchup in things all the time. Those cases are available potentially available from Schreiber Maschine over in Germany. I haven't seen her put them up on their website yet, but just ask is the best port of call. They're all 3D printed. I think they took quite a bit of effort, but it's definitely worth asking. They are brilliant. I wish, in fact, I'd like to have, if people were borrowing them, I certainly have enough modular to make 3 or 4 more without any bother at all. and I'm thinking of ways of doing it, because they're quite good because they are compact and got handles on. I'm going to put them in little bags, little rucksacks, so people can take them away. Oh, so many things to think about. It's such a great idea. It just needs people to come along and do it. Yeah. So that's the plan. That's my thing for this week. I've got a big pile of synths over there, which I'm going to have to sort out, take pictures of, put them up, get them ready, test them all out, all those sorts of things. That's the plan. That's definitely the plan. Definitely the plan. The thing down here, can I get this to have a look? I've got a couple of things down here. Oh, I think that's going to be quite difficult to see. You're never going to see that. How can I make this more seeable? It's not working. No, it's just not. That's not going to go well if I try to do that. Right, there's this thing down here, right, that you can't see, called the Beat Tweak. Here, it's a very, very, very high quality knob, which is has a haptic engine in that it creates. Do you know what I mean? It creates little bits on your finger so you can feel the indents of where it's going around. Has all of these interesting outputs and different modes. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Oh, that's the accelerometer one. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, you can't see that at all. Not even a tiny bit, can you? Can you see that at all? This here. But it's dragging. I can feel it dragging, then it goes around. Very interesting. There's different modes, does different things. It's wonderfully lit. I mean, essentially you're pumping out modulation into things, I imagine. Either recording it and then sending it in. Oh, that's so interesting. Lots of stuff going on. But I'm going to work out this as well. It's definitely my plan. Probably not this week. But yeah, it's from Submatrix. It's remarkably interesting and yet also remarkably expensive. Or not, I mean, expensive is the wrong word. It has quite a high value. Just a matter of finding out how worthwhile that is and what you can do with it. I mean, on the website, it talks about all the sorts of different modes. It's got a heck of a lot of stuff it could be doing, but very interesting. And just this knob is fascinating. How interesting that is. Yes. Okay. Well, I think we'll probably run this into the ground at this point. I don't have. I mean, we'll look at the 4Cs a little bit more, perhaps. That might be interesting. Because I wasn't really entirely sure what's going on with any of that. What was that on? Was it on 4 or was it on 2? There it is. I will see. It's a vernier knob. Thank you. Yes, it probably is. You should try and contact Cabaret Voltaire and see if they'd like to announce a Synth Picnic at Synth East. Yeah, I run Synth East. I can announce it in the bleeding self. In fact, I'll be announcing Cabaret Voltaire. Yeah. That's quite funny. I'm going to try to see if I can find a bass line out of something to add to this. Not from the Herbs and Stones, because I have no idea what's going on with all of that. Let me see if I can run something in tune with it. How possible that would be. So I've got something going on over here. It's just a matter of having enough inputs and outputs, and I seem to have a lack of cables, which seems just crazy at the minute. Take this, so I'm going to push that over there a little bit, and I'll shout if I need to. Alright, let's see if I can make some tunes before we get to the end. Where are all my cables? That'll do. That came up with some kind of tune in the end there somewhere. Coming somewhere out of the mush came the odd little something or other. That was fun. So yeah, the Four Seas is nothing quite like what I thought it was. I had no idea it could be so melodic, funnily enough, but it's my first try with it, so I had no idea quite what. I thought it was going to be sort of mystical sounds I was having to discover, but it's actually a lot more accessible than I had told myself. Quite pleased that I'm able to operate the Caress of Stars still, which is great. Yes. Tuning is definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. Anyway, I need to wind this up because other things are going on, I imagine. I need to get on with things. Detune elements. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me and bumbling our way through another evening of craziness. As I say, this week I'm flat out getting Synth Picnic together. If you are around Norwich, do come and visit us. It would be great. Even if you're not interested in synthesizers, just come along. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it will be great. It's from 10:30 till 4ish in the Arnchley Library in the Castle Quarter in Norwich. I feel I've done a terrible job of advertising this particular one, so I don't know how many people are going to turn up, but it will be an exercise in getting everything ready so that the potential is there for sales and renting. That's ultimately what we're trying to what we're trying to get to this time. And then because Synth East is now up and running, I can give it a little bit more of my focus. So for the December Synth Picnic, which will be on the 13th of December, we can go all out on trying to get that to work with the Christmas crowd. Might even buy a load of mugs to sell, something like that. That's the plan. That's the plan. Thanks. Roxy music, really interesting. Interesting. Will I be taking the Four Seas to the picnic? Yes. I mean, I'll be taking it to the one this week with a bit of luck. With a bit of luck. I will. I'm going to have to see. So it just depends on how much time I get to wire things together. But otherwise, yeah, I hope to be taking it with me. Synth stud. Crikey. Sorry, MM7 Wab. I'm forever reading an amateur radio womble as your first comment, as opposed to anything else. Okay, sorry, Mum. Great jam. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got something to work. That's always good. Always heartening. So yes, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you have a good rest of the week, rest of the month, and coming up. As I say, I'm part of a release. I'm part of a release tsunami, potentially. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's just a small deal on Tuesday, I think. So look out for that. I do have a review of something coming up. Otherwise, as I say, Synth Picnic, and then I've just, I can take my pick at all sorts of things to play with. I do have a Donna video to do this month, which is quite exciting. They've actually asked me to, engaging me into doing a video. So I've already done the review, and so I feel completely at home with the idea of being asked to do another video for a company who wants to engage me in that situation. That's the other thing I wanted to throw out there actually quickly before I forget, which is that Synth East, I do have room for more manufacturers. So if you are a manufacturer of modular or synthesizers and you'd like a table at Synth East, just reach out. Go to the Synth East website or contact me through any means you like. Just give me a shout and I will get you the forms. It doesn't cost very much. It's a great time. Do come along. That would be great. That should be enough for now. I will move on to other things and try to remember which button to press. Number 8, I think. I'm going to go for number 8. So thanks for your time. I will see you soon.